Hello, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. Today, I want to present to you something very interesting, um, which especially if you are around interop or if you are a developer, uh, could help the Ethereum community. It's called Open Intent Framework. Well, a little bit about me. I am a software developer, build open source code, and I work at OpenZeppelin, mostly building up off-chain components. And during the last month, I have been working directly on OIF, especially the solver that we will see in a minute. And well, to to begin with, what OIF means in general. And every time we talk about a framework, we know that we are talking about a set of tools, not for the end users, or the end user will be developers or agents, but not for final common human being. So that's mostly OIF is infrastructure, is something that helps helps the L2s, the developer, helped to have something more standardized that could lead us to improve the UX. Um, in it's open source, like all the components that we have is completely open source, it's ready to use. Intents are the central component of it. And this facilitate adoption between the different L2 is the main etap, but it's not exclusively for Ethereum. At the end, we will see like that we have different reference implementations for all the component we would see. And to begin to understand what this is about, we have to start from the first day of the Ethereum, when we decided to go for the roadmap. At the beginning, we have something like this. We have to use the canonical bridge. We use it, we wait for the finality. If we, for example, want some ETH on linear, you use like USDC. So you have to do all these sequential steps, manage the gas and handle failures, and wait like minutes, in some cases hours, to reach the layer 2, and then do the transaction we want. And then protocols emerge and start using intent, different providers, and they solve that problem, right? We use across some aggregator, LeFi, all these different protocols, and they solve that problem. We do it like in a minute, once just a few clicks, and that's it. We have like my full transactions already done. But what's the problem with this? This is a great product, but when you wanted to do something like that, want to you become a solver, because like provide liquidity, it's a little bit difficult because have this engineering complexity, and isn't open source. Basically, you have to ask them to put it in the UI and so on. So that's led us to answer the question. We see that's intent to resolve that problem. So what is intent in the first place? Is what we see before, like in a traditional way, we have to like say specifically and sequentially what we want to do. Like use this pool, this sleep patch, and follow this path. And in intent, it's different. You only express your outcome. Like, I want to swap 100 USDC. Please give me the best possible ETH. And that's it. It's simply I express what I want, and that is the center of Open Intent Framework. What having said that, what we got. Remember, we talk about these different protocols. What this protocol have is like complete these components like completely isolated. If you have a solver specifically for one protocol, and they have their own network and their own, in only one wallet. So this is isolated components, and with OIF, we like take advantage of this component altogether. And if I want to add, for example, a solver, I want to participate. Okay, I use this standard. I simply build on top of it, and we have already implementations that you can simply run by yourself. And we ended up with a really good UXs in terms of adoptions, in terms of liquidity. And this is a representation of, or the step of OIF, or of the flow. These are the main components when we use an intent. We initialize with the user or the agent, or this entity. This is the off-chain infrastructure, and imagine we have like a network A and a network B. We want to move funds or do a transaction. Well, we initialize, we quote the solver answer, reply with the intent data. We review it carefully. We can send directly an off-chain intent by signature, or we can do it by our own, like open the intent directly on the network. This goes through the OpenZeppelin that we also going to see in the minutes, because this is a set of different tools, of course, with the contracts. And the OpenZeppelin would take care of the scroll of your money or the transactions. And the same solver will be listening, or could be a set of solver listening the intent that you put it there. And of course, in a securely guaranteed way, if they think that it's profitable, because they, of course, mostly don't do it for free with a few fee, they fill the intent in the output seller, and then start using oracles. And all of these components are completely adaptable. So you can choose between 5 to 10 oracles right now, but we want more oracles. And once that is done, the oracle will send the sync data to the other network, and then the solver in a minute could like validate the proof and get their money back. That's the simple flow of OIF, or of an intent. But we can go deeper. What OpenZeppelin is building, but also this work is a conjunction between LeFi, across the Ethereum Foundation, Wonderland team that being here. So this is the most most central component that we have right now. We have the smart contracts, the solver, and the REST API. We have more components, like Wonderland have built a SDK that work with the REST APIs. We have a standard 7683 that will follow that standard, and we simply have to use the SDK. To begin with, the smart contracts, as I mentioned, is really modular and extensible. So you can choose. You are not tied to one implementation, but we have many. We have the input and the output settlers that scroll your money where you have to use it. We have the callback for composability, so you can add more complex functionality. It's not only, okay, I want just to do a swap. No, perhaps I want to use it in a pool. And only in seconds, I could have like a completely cross-chain transaction. Um, we have different scroll option. We have like resource log from Uniswap people, something called I forget the name, the compact. And for scroll, we have for permit to transactions, and so, it's like 8004, if I'm not wrong. And as I mentioned before, we have different oracles. We lastly implemented Cross-chain Broadcaster with the help of Arbitrum Foundation. That's and so you have like the same guarantee as the canonical bridge. And of course you have, yeah, you can trust many actors between that. The solver. When I started the talk, I mentioned the solver because it's a really complex. It's really complex to build. If I want to run something, it's not easy to manage balance, manage different assets. Use different solvers. So we have built a really modular solver that work with many assets. We have work, of course, with the contracts of OIF are fully integrated, support multiple tokens, and support multiple networks. Also worth mentioning that if I just want to switch one implementation for other, I could do it simple as that. If I, for example, trust this Oracle and I don't want to use this for fast finality, I just go and change it. And how we integrate this, because we needed a standard. So again, with the help of many partners, we developed a minimalistic REST API when we could like quote, submit your intent, and that get a status. We try to be as flexible as possible, but also as minimal as possible. So this like is the hair of OIF. If we want to, like more protocols to integrate OIF, the only thing that they have to use is just the REST API if you are building something by your own. But of course, if you are if you want something like already done, we have the many reference that you can use. Well, when we were building all these components, we realized that it was really difficult to communicate directly with a solver. So what we think is, okay, perhaps I want some aggregator, like the protocol aggregator we use, but for the solver. So on top of it, we build an aggregator. So the aggregator do the hard job for you. So like you only quote, you get many quotes from the solver, and independent of the what you want. Perhaps I do something really fast, or perhaps I want to just really secure. So depends of what you desire. You choose your oracle, and you send them through the aggregator, and then you simply use it. We have also wallet that we are building. I think Wonderland people is working with it. It support base intent protocols, and yes, this is an example of the aggregator. You as a client, you get a quote. The aggregator communicates with different solvers, and you just get back with the information, and the client used to send the intent signed, or if they want to like send directly, because this when you quote something, you can just sign the intent and send it directly by to the chain. Okay, so once having said that, what's OIF really wants right now that we have built like all these components like ready to use, because it's all what we have seen is like infrastructure ready to use. We want more L2, more rollups. We want more protocols using OIF. We want to expand the capabilities of the solver. It's up to the developers to contribute to the contracts, to the solver, to the aggregator. So we want that. We want that use of the community, because we have built a really strong product that is being audited, is secure, is trustful. We also want more protocols to be compatible. As I mentioned, this is not only use OIF, but protocols could adapt, could use a callback to start using OIF. We need more DApps to integrate intents. We need more oracles. I mentioned we have like 5, 6, 7. I don't remember, but there is many other interesting protocols wanted to join. Well, I at this point I was about to present a demo about an intent, but I have a problem with my computers. So this is secure if you want to see the or contribute to OIF. And yeah, thanks for your time. Any questions?
Thanks, Naim. Yeah, I was wondering if there is any incentive for running a solver, if there is any fee that users pays to the solver in order to execute an intent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's completely up on the. It depends on the of how what perhaps I am a L2 and just want fast instead of people like using the canonical bridge, I was people to use because people want like fast finality, just want to move. So perhaps they want to run that and improve the UX, and they don't charge you a fee. But if perhaps I am another actor, I just want to gain some fees from doing that, I run a solver. Also worth mentioning that OpenZeppelin could like take your all infrastructure and we will run a solver for you. We are running a solver for one L2, and we can do that for you if you want to like offload that responsibility. Or a question? Okay, thank you.